guys, we learned the previous lesson regarding two models, with one is waterfall model and the V model. So there we understood that once which method a developer is going to use, this is how we also going to plan our test cases and going to test the software and different forms and methods, right? So basically in the V model that we looked for, when there was the testing and the development is done side by side, right? So basically the V model that we discussed earlier was the most popular model in terms of software development lifecycle. This is the model that preferred by the software developers. However, I would again say, just to remind you, that which particular model will be used, that will not be decided individually by the developer or the tester. That will be decided either by the client or the manager or the project manager, who is taking care of the project. Okay, because you will be the one, or the senior of the IT department. IT department, when I say, it can be a senior DevOps, a senior development manager, will be deciding that which particular process needs to be followed or which model needs to be applied for the project. Okay, because the project may vary, and as per the project the requirements and other things may also vary. So this is the reason that we are not the one who will be choosing that which model we should choose to develop a particular software. Correct? Perfect. So if you understood that B model earlier, we'll be proceeding further and we'll be exploring the other models that are available. So next what we have is called iterative life cycle model. Now what does that mean? Iterative life cycle model, to understand this, let's go to our screen, okay, and try to understand this. So basically iterative life cycle model is something that is used for big projects. Now why it is used for the big projects, that will be discussing. So say for an example, uh, if you talk about, let's take an example of a plant. Okay, so first what you do, first you put the seed into the ground. Okay, this is, say for an example, seed. Then you water it daily. What do you water it? Then once you finish watering it, slowly start to grow. What happened is that it slowly start growing. But this is how. So say for an example, this is how a plant grow. Okay, so once the plant start to grow, next time it will be a bigger tree. Correct? Let me know one thing, that if this particular plant sufficient amount of for a plant to develop. Now substance, you can include sunlight, water, and different type of substance to develop or to make a tree grow faster, right? So those minerals from which comes from the soils only. If the soil is not good, if there is no sunlight, then what do you think? The plant will grow? No, it won't, right? So basically, this process is something not which should be stopped, right? It is going on. It is a process which will be going on and on and on, and the same thing will be repeated again. So there will be sunlight, the sunlight will convert it into the chlorophyll, and the plant will make their food through using this chlorophyll, and then it will grow, and then there will be a branches. So see, basically this is a cycle, this is a life cycle of a plant, right? Similarly, software also has a life cycle, and based on the model that a life cycle is followed is known as iterative model. What happened in iterative model? Let's see and find out. Let's see and find out that what happened in the iterative model. So see, first initial planning and business modeling has been done, that how we want a software or a particular product to operate. Basically what we'll be doing with the particular software or the product. Then planning. Now once the planning is done, a requirement used to be gathered. Okay, that what are the requirement, how a client wants this particular software to operate or to function. Then again, the analysis and design has been done by the designer. As per the analysis, design will be done. As per the design implementation, there will be the test and then evaluation, planning, requirement analysis, implementation, test, evaluation, planning, requirement analysis, implementation, test, evaluation, planning, requirement analysis, and so on and so forth. So this is the deployment. It means this is a circle. This is the basically a circle which will be repeating, which will be working in the repeated mode. It means everything will be done on each stages. There is nothing such as the plan is fixed, okay, or it is finished or it is closed. It will be repeating, it will be keeping happening. Next, so what are the features of iterative model? Initialized without complete specification. So say for an example, I say, see, I want a login model. Now still I am not clear about the entire software, but I have given you one module access, that one particular module will be developed. Say for an example, I say that the entire software is this, okay. Say for an example, this is the entire software, okay. This is the entire software. Now I don't have an idea about the entire software. I just tell you a small module which I want in the software. This is the login module, registration model which I want in the software, okay. So I am only aware about that, but what happened is that if you talk about the waterfall model and V model, we have to have the complete requirements in order to start development. But in iterative life cycle or iterative model, we don't require the whole specification of the requirement of the software. As per the requirement are coming, we'll be starting and developing it one by one in every stages. So in a similar way, so first, once I know that okay, I don't have an idea about the entire project, but yeah, I can tell you that there will be a login module. So once you get this particular one module requirement, you will be starting to develop the one single module, okay. You will not be dependent, okay, once I get the entire requirement of the software, then only I'll be starting developing. No, it is done with a single module, it can be started. Now many iteration can be made. It means iteration means what? We are concluding each and everything as we get the requirement as it is needed, right? So basically, it taking the changes, taking the small modules on different phases. Major requirements must be defined first, whereas various details can be evolved with the time. It means what it is happening here, the designing, implementation, test, planning requirement is going on, right? Until and unless the project is finished, it will be keep changing. There is no issues with that. However, it is saying that whatever the major modules are, say for an example, first I need a registration or a login model, then I need a product based model, then I need a add to cart model, then I need a payment checkout model. So even though I don't know about the payment checkout model and the add to cart model, if I am having information about the login module and the product module, then we'll be developing first the login module and the product module only. However, whatever I need, the major module that will be needed in the software, one is login, say for an example, other is adding product, and second third is checkout. So if these models are if these modules are major module in the software, it means it is going to be the main component of the software, then it will be developed first. So if you want to try to understand this in a better way, understand it in this way, that say for an example, you are building a house, okay. So you are not sure about the entire house, but you are sure about, okay, first there will be a basement, or first there will be a floor, first there will be a garage, first there will be whatever it is, okay. So once we know the each model, but however, you must know that if I am planning to build a duplex house or something like that, then accordingly the design should be made. So I need to be aware of that what will be the major development, major function of the software. So once we know, because the major and the critical part of the software which is going to run the entire software will be developed first. If not, then it is going to be an issue changing the major model in a very frequent manner. So first we will gather that okay, what are the main function that our software should have. Then we'll be focusing developing those main models. Okay. Now once we are done with this, small changes, small deployments. Say for example, I don't want mobile number, instead of that I want an email to be logged in, then those small changes can be done. But however, we need to be fixed about the login model, that there will be a login model. Under this login model, so for example, now we are logging it with the email ID. We want to change it to mobile phone. We want to change into some security based key that will be logging through. So this can be changed. However, we need to be sure about the main features of the software that will be developed first. More designing and less documentation. Why? Because it keeps changing. The requirement keeps changing and the things get rectified because we are not aware about what is coming in the next week. So if the client says in the next week that okay, see, I have checked or we have checked, but we don't think that that particular model will be suitable for the software. So just keep it out from the software, or stop this developing, remove this particular phase from the software. So then what we need to do, we need to then entire change the requirement. No, we don't need to do it because we already know the major component of the software. Now as per the client says okay, OTP will not be there, so we'll remove the OTP part. If he says email ID will not be there, we'll remove the OTP, but the main function, which is a login module, will be always there. Okay, and it is usually done used in the big project, not in a small project, because big project do have a tenuity of more than a year, right? And sometimes even for lifetime. So that's why we say it. So more designing, less documentation, because see, we will be keeping on changing it, so we don't need to be fixed with the documentation each and every stage, because there will be change. We are not aware about the entire requirements of the product. Used for big project, as I said. So with the addition of every new model, existing model needs to be retested. It means, now let's understand this by this example. Say for an example, if I have developed a login model, okay, and add to cart model and checkout model. This is the different thing, okay? So first they need to register themselves in the login model. Then they can explore the product and add to cart a product. Then they will be able to check out with those products that are added in the cart. Okay, understood. Now say for an example, as it says, okay, that what it says, that addition of every new module, existing module needs to be retested. It means what? Say for an example, I have updated this login module. First it was on password, next to OTP or a security key that you need to plug in something in order to get logged in. Okay? Amazon has this kind of facility in the web services. So basically what it does, it basically says that if I am changing this module, if I'm removing it or rectifying any of the module, then the previous module, which was the previous module, the login one, when there will be functionality of OTP, email, it will also be retested. It will be retested because due to the new requirement changes, or due to the new rectification, there's a possibility that this particular module may come out with a defect. Now understand this in a better way. Just take this example, that what may work in Windows 7 may not work in Windows 10, correct? So this is the reason that whenever we change, rectify the old version of a software to a new version, or to a with a new changes basically, so the previous version of the software or previous modules, login modules, also needs to be retested to understand that okay, this was the environment, this is how the software were functioning previously, but once we change it, we may find a difference, that a software behavior, that software is behaving differently from how it is behaving in the previous version. So that is the reason we use iterative life cycle, and that is the reason that we use uh, that we apply this method to be retested with the previous version and the new version, of course. Got it? This is called as regression testing. It means, say for an example, earlier we used to have Windows 7, Now why we change it to Windows 10? Now in order to see that a particular software is working as it was working in Windows 7, it is working with Windows 10 as well, then only we'll be able to say that okay, whatever we have implemented is successful, correct? So in order to know that how the software behaves in the previous version, we need to be retest the previous version along with the new version as well.